What's poppin', people? It's Dante, getting my morning started off here in Fairmount Park, Philadelphia. Just hopped off the bus, and yeah, it's another beautiful winter day. Sun is slowly peering above the horizon. Looks like we got some clouds in the sky today. Yeah, it's a brisk, cool morning. And yeah, I just hopped off the bus. The fare has increased from $2 to $2.50. The SEPTA workers were basically threatening to go on strike, demanding increased wages recently. SEPTA is our public transportation system here in the city of Philadelphia. I feel like it's the glue that holds the city together, and so their demands were met, their wages were increased. However, with the fare increase, I can't help but to see that the system is broken. You know, the wages shouldn't have to increase, the fare shouldn't have to increase. Obviously, the economy at scale, considering the nation's debt, trickles down to the local level one way or another. Yeah, so this isn't a good thing. Yeah, the system is broken. So with a broken system, what can we do? I guess with a broken system, we need to find a glitch in the matrix. You ever play Skyrim? I remember Skyrim was one of my favorite video games. I feel like it's one of the best games of all time, honestly, when you think about it. Like, that game is so good. And so yeah, I wanted to get the dragon armor as fast as possible. And so when I entered the nearby village, Whiterun, it was like one of the first villages in the game that you enter. I found this exploit where I could basically increase my smithing to level 99 faster by crafting these shitty iron daggers and selling them to the blacksmith over and over again. And also glitching under the map, stealing gold from these chests or items from these chests, and then selling the items back to the shopkeepers, and then increasing my gold significantly. And so by increasing my smithing skill, I was able to then craft this dragon armor, the best armor in the game, baby. Daedric armor. I remember getting that in like 24 hours. I was just grinding XP, grinding my smithing and gold, and increasing my stats. You know, I think that you know, maybe, you know, when you glitch under the matrix pattern of the map, right? When you go under a map in a video game, you know, think of that grid pattern. It's dangerous, right? You could fall and die, but in that danger, you know, you come out unscathed with the best armor in the game, baby. And so maybe the glitch in the system is Bitcoin and putting our money into our own vault, our own war chest, sort of treating those little like shops that you were looting in Skyrim kind of just like the central bank. It's like, let's take that money that's just depreciating in value and put it somewhere safe, but there's a little bit of risk involved, right? And with that risk, maybe we can get the best armor in the game faster. Yeah, I've been thinking about light. I feel like light is the essence of all things, right? I mean, without the sun, without the fire in the sky that we're currently orbiting around, there would be no life here on Earth. There would be no life in the galaxies and the universe generally. There wouldn't be anything. I mean, light itself is such a powerful medium to wield as a photographer. This morning I was shooting macro photos of the bus stop glass. I was trying to make a photo of the texture using macro mode, and what I noticed is the macro focus was out of focus. And so as I was out of focus in low light, the cars were passing by, and as the cars were passing by, I saw these beautiful bokeh balls appear, and I started photographing them, and it was interesting, kind of painterly, abstracted reality. And this is a very amateur mistake that I made, but it felt like a little glitch, you know. It felt like something that I just figured out spontaneously, and I'm really happy with the accident. You know, I think a lot of photos become these happy accidents. Yeah, I'm eager to see the results. I'm curious about these kind of out of focus photos. I think maybe going forward I need to experiment more like a mad scientist, kind of tinkering and experimenting. You know, for a decade now I've been grinding my photography skill. You know, you think of photography as a skill, right? Kind of like Skyrim, just 100% focus on this one thing. And honestly, I think when it comes to leveling up a skill, you know, when I was doing the dagger upgrades or whatever, the smithing upgrades in Skyrim, you know, I was only focusing on that one thing. And I think there's some truth in that, right? In order to increase your skill to the maximum level, you do need 100% focus on that one thing. And so, yeah, I mean, I have this sort of rigor and discipline, almost like an athlete with my photography for 10 years now. And maybe it's time for me to dabble in other areas. Maybe it's time to increase my gold, my strength, my intelligence, you know, the other stat points are in need of upgrading, you know. What other stat points were there? You know, like charisma, right? Charisma was one of them in Fallout, I remember. Speech. Yeah, maybe these skills can come in handy. You know, being more well-rounded should be my goal going into 2025 as I hit the decade mark of photographing. Yeah, I feel like I'm not going to say I maxed out my photography skill, but I maxed out my photography skill. And so now I'm trying to, you know, break the sort of medium, try to break the matrix, sort of find glitches, you know, get under the map, you know, come out with something interesting, hopefully. Yeah, it's time to experiment, to explore, try something new. Yeah, I think that should be my goal going forward in 2025. You know, when I think of focus, right, paying attention, focus, you know, this is ultimately the currency of the universe. You know, thinking of how you pay it, you know, what are you paying attention to? How are you spending time? Like, to me, that's the currency. And so for me, the ultimate luxury is just spending time outdoors, spending time in solitude, spending time in deep thought and creative acts of making photos or writing or, you know, doing things that are physical in the real world. And so, yeah, I think it's best for us to pay attention and to stay laser focused. When I'm photographing, I'm 100% focused on my surroundings. I feel as though the photographer, as we have the ability to compose and react with our intuition and to, you know, have good timing and, you know, make a perfect picture, whatever that means. I think what we're really responsible for is our attention. And so, you know, looking 10 steps ahead, you know, paying attention to what's coming around the corner, you know, like these things to me are most important. And yeah, you're kind of just responsible for being there, being present and paying attention and being an observer at the end of the day. And maybe what you decide to exclude from the frames that you make is just as important as what you include in the frames that you make. And I think that as you sort of make more photos, you sharpen your focus on how you perceive the world itself, right? So the more you make photos, the more you understand the world. And I think more so than a visual way, maybe on an emotional and spiritual way, right? It's not necessarily you just looking at the world visually, but on a deeper level. And I think that's where the power of photography comes in. It's your absolute 100% focus on the fleeting moments. And yeah, maybe I should direct my focus other places. Yeah, focus, hocus pocus.